Alright guys, so welcome to 4AWS. This is the second level of Server 2016 subject, and obviously if you're enrolled in this subject you have already done 5 ICW or have the equivalent skills. In order for us to result you correctly, just make sure you are enrolled in the right competencies. For example, these are the two competencies: manage network and data integrity, install and configure test network security. And so if you're not enrolled in both, it could mean that you're doing a diploma, a higher level subject, or advanced diploma. But if you're doing the Cert 4, you definitely have to have both, okay? So make sure you check for yourself on MyTAFE and you're enrolled correctly. Next thing is that if we look at the study schedule, guys, you'll see that this is a schedule just like every other subject. It tells us when things are going to happen. For example, this week, the week beginning 31st of July 2017, the first session is today, and we're going to do configure and troubleshoot the domain name system, okay, DNS. You'll see that next week on this session, this week at this time exactly next week, we're going to start the assignment, okay? What does that mean? You guys need to bring in your portable hard drives, guys, okay? Your portable hard drives. And if you haven't got a solid state hard drive, it's probably time to invest in one, because you'll realize for our assignment at times we will need 6 to 7 virtual machines running at any one time, and a normal hard drive is just not going to be good enough, okay? Yes, Artem? Yeah, more than enough. You probably for this subject only need about 128 gigs maximum, but if you want to use it for other subjects or other reasons, then you have to build that into your purchase. So if we keep on scrolling down the study schedule, you'll see that there's a final test, final theory test on pretty much the second last lesson. Okay, and we'll talk about what you need to do to pass in the next document, but so make sure you're working towards being ready for that. And you'll see that the final one is when the final assignment is signed off, okay? The way we've set this assignment up is like a workplace. You have a limited time to get a project up and running and correct and signed off by the stakeholder. And basically, if you have it signed off fully by this time, it is a successful project. If you have not got it successfully signed off, then it's an unsuccessful project. And in the real world, then that means your project is a failure. In our classroom, it means you don't pass the subject. Okay, so let me close this document. Just make sure if you miss a lesson, that you go back to the study schedule and you actually see what you miss and catch up. Okay, if we look at the assessment structure, you'll realize that there's 2 things you have to do for this subject. Okay, a theory test, and the assignment like we spoke about just then. And here we go. So there's a Moodle-based theory test, and that test is going to be multiple choice, true or false questions, and that is going to be the closed book, and it's going to be done in class in a supervised way. The assignment is going to be mainly practical. There'll be some research elements that you have to do, but it's actually going to be practical. But unlike the 5 ICW, you're not going to have to create any documentation, so I'll mark it on your server. And like I said, it's going to be based on a real life situation. It's not going to be 70% pass mark. It's going to be 100% pass mark. Okay, just like if you're working in the work situation, your boss is not going to be happy if you only could do 70% of what he asked you to do. Okay, just like in the workplace, it's not just 2 attempts now. This assignment is ongoing from basically next week to the end of the term. And basically you'll get things signed off as you finish them. But if they're not correct, I'll be playing the role of your supervisor. I'll be giving you feedback on why it's not correct, and I'll give you multiple chances to fix it until you can get it correct. So you do it until it's done, or until the final due date is up. Okay. This subject is a graded subject. What does that mean? That means that you can, besides getting a pass, you can get a credit or distinction. You'll realize that there's actually 3 merit points in the theory test, and there's 3 merit points in the assignment. And in order to get a credit, you need to get 3 or 4 merit points. In order to get a distinction, you need to get 5 or more merit points. Okay, and they'll be clearly explained how the merit points work when you do the assessments. Okay, let's go back here. All right, let's go back here. So before we continue anymore, let's actually get you to have a look at what we need for this subject, okay? For today's worksheet. So if I open the worksheet for today, you'll realize that every time we tell you what you need right at the start in the requirements. So for today, it's going to be similar to the 5-eyed CW subject. We need the Service 2016 VMs, and we need the Windows 10 client virtual machine. And basically, you go to your L drive, IT Studies NAS, Microsoft, VMs, and then you'll get the Windows 10 and the Server 2016 VMs, and you copy it to your C downloads folder. Okay, so C downloads if you're going to put it on the local machine, and if it's on your portable hard drive, wherever you want to put it. So before you can do today's worksheet, you need to copy those down. So if you want to start copying that now, that probably means that you don't have to wait around when we need those files. Also, while I've got you looking at this, the next thing I want to show you is here. Just pay attention for a second. So on your L drive again, under ITS, under Certificate for AWS, you'll see that there's this PDF file. Okay, this PDF file is actually a textbook, an electronic version of a textbook. We're allowed to give you this textbook because of our arrangement with the publisher. It's you'll notice that it's actually 2012 though, R2. Okay, so it's not the version for the Windows we're using now. But the thing is, for the products we're using and for the server roles we're going to configure and use, it pretty much is the same. Okay, I would say 90+% the same. So there's not many good Server 2016 textbooks out right now, so there's no point in getting you to buy a textbook that may be not as good as this one that's here for free. So that's why I'm giving it for free. So your theory test at the end of the day will be based on this textbook. Okay, the PowerPoints we're going to go through is a summarized version of the information that will be found in this textbook. But obviously, at the end of the day, it's not just the PowerPoints, it's this textbook. Just like you would do for Cisco, maybe make some notes as we're covering the different topics. For example, there might not be an order. If we're doing DNS today, they might be the chapter 8 and 9 today. Yep, Artem. Yeah, that might be. Depends on which one it is, of course. Okay, but I'm giving you this one for free. You can take it home. You can put it on your USB stick and you can open it on your computer. So why don't you just use this one? Okay. So that's where our test questions and information will be based on. Okay, guys. So make sure you get that.